Good morning. This is example number 6 in your partial fraction decomposition practice. So the first thing we're going to do, as always, is notice that the numerator is a degree, or actually 2 degrees lower than the denominator. Either way, we do not have to perform long division. And so that's good news. And the next thing we need to do is make sure to factor the denominator. So when factoring the denominator, notice that x squared is a common factor. So I can take out an x squared. And when I take out an x squared, what remains? It's going to be x minus 9. Okay, now, this is also a very important problem because here is another example of a repeated factor, just like we saw in example 5. Remember that x squared is secretly x times x, which are actually 2 factors. So there are theoretically going to need to be 1, 2, 3 fractions here. So I'm going to set this up as equaling a over the first factor plus b over the second factor, but we have to make it squared, okay, plus c over the third factor. All right, so this is, again, very similar to example number 5. Don't let x squared fool you. It's technically a repeated factor. Okay, continuing on, we see that 4x minus 11 over x squared times x minus 9, okay? And if I multiply everything out, I'm going to get a times x times the quantity x minus 9, okay, plus b times the quantity x minus 9, plus c times the quantity x squared, all over x squared times the quantity x minus 9, okay? Now we're going to set the numerators equal. I'm going to get that 4x minus 11 is equal to a times the quantity x times x minus 9 plus b times x minus 9 plus c times x squared. Okay, now, before I continue, I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can come up with your own values for x. That would be really easy. And you can do that at this time. All right, so if you figured out that one of the easiest things to do at this point is to let x equal 0. If you let x equal 0, that'll be really nice because it'll cancel out the a and it'll cancel out the c, allowing me to solve for b. So I'm going to plug x equals 0 into my equation. And again, I'm not putting it in here because that's going to be 0. But I'm going to have b times 0 minus 9. And again, I'm not plugging it in here because that's going to be 0. So this is going to be negative 11 equals negative 9b. Divide by negative 9, and b is equal to positive 11 over 9. Okay, now let's let x equal 9. And why am I doing that? Well, x equaling 9 is going to cancel out b, and it will cancel out a, allowing me to solve for c. So let's plug that in. So 4 times 9 minus 11 equals, okay, again, I'm not plugging it in here or here, c times 9 squared. Okay, let's continue our math here. This is going to be 36 minus 11, which is going to give me 25. And that's going to be 81c divided by 81. And I'm going to get c equals 25 over 81. Okay, now in the next video, I'm going to continue by solving for a. So in the meantime, I want you to think of a good value that we could let x equal, right? What could x equal in order for us to get a and to solve for a pretty easily, right? We don't want to do something super complicated. So I will see you in part 2 of problem number 6.